It just isn't fair on a personal level. It's also staggeringly reckless fiscal policy. Remember, this whole undertaking was first set up as a short-term emergency measure at the very start of COVID. Those earliest weeks when the entire economy seemed to be in a free fall. That was almost 3 years ago. So shortly afterwards, thanks to the bipartisan CARES Act that came out of the Republican-led Senate,
earning more than $75,000 and couples with incomes over $150,000 will now receive the full payments but may still qualify for some support. Half of the new stimulus money will come in the form of cash as monthly payments due to start this summer. Everybody, the IRS Commissioner Chuck Reddick just warned Americans that the new checks could be delayed. But folks, the question is, will you be receiving a plus of payments from the IRS this week? Well, according to the IRS, millions of people are going to be receiving an extra stimulus check this week. The IRS has already started sending out plus-up payments to people who did not receive the full stimulus payment that they were eligible for. And if you guys are owed stimulus money, here's what I suggest you do. The first step is to file taxes for 2020. That way the IRS has current income information reflecting any changes from 2019. But I know that many of you are still waiting to receive your stimulus money, either through direct deposit or an EIP card, and even a paper check. But folks, just know this. Lawmakers are currently debating whether Americans should receive $1,000 a month no matter their income level. But folks, do you believe that the next round of stimulus checks should be more targeted? Tell me your thoughts down in the comments, everybody. Now folks, here's what you have to know about the Social Security benefits. Many of our politicians are saying that the Social Security benefits are unaffordable and that it is hurting the American economy. Now I know that so many of you want answers about the extra $200 boost to your Social Security payments. Now everybody, just know this. Joe Biden has advocated for many proposals that would increase Social Security benefits over the course of the next several years. Biden did initially propose an extra $200 a month for all Social Security beneficiaries. But recently, Joe Biden hasn't really talked about that. It is sad to see how our politicians have forgotten about our seniors. I personally believe that our politicians in Congress must include an extra $200 a month in the next infrastructure bill for all of you guys that are on Social Security benefits.
Between Japan and the American people, in the wake of that tragedy, to recover and to rebuild. And those personal bonds of friendship and connection, they're the ones who are going to keep this alliance strong and vibrant for decades to come. And I'm especially proud that today we agreed to resume what is called the Mansfield Fellowship Program to promote people-to-people connections between our countries. Before Mike Mansfield, who was a beloved ambassador to Japan, became ambassador, he was a mentor of mine when I came to the Senate after my wife and daughter were killed. And he helped me along in ways I can't even explain in the United States Senate. And I'm proud that this legacy continues to be honored as part of the close, enduring partnership between our nations. And Yossi, I know how proud you are of the people of Japan are. And you've got a Japanese boy coming over here, and guess what? He won the Masters. He won the Masters. He won the green jacket. And Matsuyama was the first Japanese player to take home that green jacket at the Masters tournament this week. So let me say congratulations, Japan, as well on that feat. Mr. Prime Minister, thank you for making the trip. I look forward to all that Japan and the United States will accomplish together in the coming years. It was a great honor having you as the first head of state in my administration. The floor is yours.
Which will have a markup this week. So actually, Chris, I wouldn't declare this dead yet. I think it is positive and possible that we could work together still in the coming weeks on investing in America to better compete with China.
Senator Cornyn, taking on China would seem to be something that all Americans, let alone senators, can agree on. But there have been reports that you and a number of other...
So everybody, consumer price inflation in March is expected to have spiked the most since December 1981, driven by higher food costs, rising rents, and runaway energy prices. The consumer price index will be released this week, and economists expect a monthly jump of 1.1% and a year-over-year gain of 8.4%. That compares with February's increase of 0.8%. the highest increase since early 1982. And according to AAA, gasoline prices also recently surged, reaching a national average of $4.33 per gallon. But the Federal Reserve is expected to tighten its policy aggressively to rein in the highest inflation in 4 decades. Markets expect a half-point hike in May, and economists say a hot inflation report could also bring a half-point hike in June. The Fed first raised interest rates by a quarter point in March after cutting the Fed funds largest rate to 0 in early 2020. But the biggest question now is whether central bank officials can successfully tame inflation and stabilize prices without triggering an economic recession. Now, there is some news and for some legislation that is being negotiated on right now. Lawmakers have been considering guaranteed income programs this year. However, these programs are distinct from stimulus checks as they provide payments each month over an extended period of time. The concept of offering Americans a basic or guaranteed income moved even more prominently into 2020. Since then, a number of cities across the country have been trying their own versions of the universal basic income, like in the city of New Jersey, like in the city of Newark, New Jersey, which recently expanded a basic income program there to 400 residents. Each of the recipients is getting a total of $12,000 over 2 years, and the participants have confirmed that changes are going to be made this year to Social Security benefits. Now, this is going to affect everybody on Social Security, SSI, and SSDI. Like I said, there's a lot of developments going on around the fourth stimulus check, so stay tuned for more updates. Got some pretty good news, and it's that their benefits will be going up by 5.9% in 2022, representing the largest raise in decades. Meanwhile, the start of 2023 has brought about severe spikes in inflation, and that gets to the stage for an even higher bump in benefits come 2023. So everybody, it has just been announced that the consumer price index for all urban consumers rose 7.9% on an annual basis, making its steepest annual gain in over 40 years. And if this trend persists, then seniors on Social Security could see their benefits rise more next year. In addition to this, 2022's 5.9% COLA is a great thing for millions of seniors, but many beneficiaries are already losing their buying power when buying things because the rate of inflation is just crazy. Now, I know that many of you are wondering how much relief will be provided if inflation continues to rise. Well, according to CNBC, if high levels of inflation persist, then seniors can end up seeing a COLA in the 7% range in 2023.
You have already forced big financial institutions to cough up $140 million in refunds on junk fees, mostly on overdraft charges. And now the CFPB is taking on credit card late fees. Now, nobody picks a credit card because they know how much the company will charge if you're 2 hours late getting your payment.
Now, the SSA has just announced a new change that could affect thousands of beneficiaries. There are actually many new items that were added to the bipartisan infrastructure bill that can financially help the American people. And this is great news, folks, because we might expect to see a fourth stimulus check in the coming days. So, you want to be sure to stay until the end of this video to find out more information on the fourth stimulus check.